Dine tonight at Willis's, for I have really been engaged to Aunt Augusta for more than a week.
But I haven't invited you to dine with me anywhere tonight.
I know, you're so absurdly careless about sending out invitations. Nothing annoys people so much as not receiving invitations.
You had much better dine with your Aunt Augusta.
I haven't the slightest intention of doing that. In the first place, I dine there on Monday this week, and dining once a week with one's own relations is quite enough. In the second place, when I dine there, I'm treated as family, which means I'm sent down with either no woman or two. In the third place, I know exactly who she will sit me beside tonight. She'll sit me down beside Mary Farquhar, who always flirts with her own husband across the dinner table. It's not very pleasant. However, indeed, the number of women who flirt with their own husbands in public in London is becoming quite disgraceful. It's washing one's own clean linen in public. Yet besides, now that I know you're a Bunburyist, I naturally want to talk to you about Bunburying. I want to tell you the rules.
I am not a Bunburyist at all. If Gwendolyn accepts me, I'll kill my brother. In fact, I'll kill him in any case. Cecily is much too interested in him. It has become quite a bore. Yes, I'll get rid of Ernest. You had much better do the same with your your invalid friend with the funny name.
Nothing will induce me to part with dear Bunbury. And if you ever marry Miss Fairfax, which to me seems extremely problematic, you will quite wish to know Bunbury.
If I marry a charming girl like Gwendolyn, I certainly won't want to know Bunbury.
Then your wife will. You don't seem to understand that in marriage, 3 is company and 2 is none.
My dear young fellow, that's the theory that the French drama has been propounding for the last 50 years.
And that the happy English home has proved in half the time.
Algy, don't be cynical. It's so easy to be cynical.
My boy, it's not easy to be anything nowadays. There's so much ghastly competition about. That's Aunt Augusta now. Only relatives or creditors ever ring in such a Wagnerian manner. Now, if I manage to get her out of the room for 10 minutes so you may propose to Gwendolyn, will you invite me to dine with you at Willis's tonight?
I suppose, if you want to.
Yes, but you must be serious about it. I hate people who aren't serious about nails. It's sort of shallow of them.
Lady Bracknell and Miss Fairfax.
Good afternoon, dear Algernon. I hope you are behaving very well.
I'm feeling very well, Aunt Augusta.
It's not quite the same thing. In fact, the two things rarely go together.
Dear me, you are smart.
I am always smart. Am I not, Mr. Worthing?
You are quite perfect, Miss Fairfax.
I hope I am not that. It would leave no room for developments. And I intend to develop in many directions.
I am sorry we are a little late, Algernon, but I was obliged to call on dear Lady Hartley. I had not been there since her poor husband's death. I have never seen a woman so altered. She looked quite 20 years younger. And now I'll have a glass of sherry and one of those nice cucumber sandwiches you promised me.
Certainly, Aunt Augusta.
Gwendolyn, won't you come and sit here?
Thank you, Mamma. I'm quite comfortable where I am.
Vane, where are the cucumber sandwiches?
There were no cucumbers in the market this morning, sir. I went down twice.
Not even for ready money?
No, sir. Not even for ready money.
That will do, Lane. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Aunt Augusta, I am very distressed indeed to hear there were no cucumbers in the market today. Not even for ready money.
It really makes no matter, Algernon. I had some crumpets with Lady Hartley, who seems to me to be living entirely in pleasure.
Yes, I hear her hair has turned quite gold from grief.
It certainly has changed its color. From what cause, I, of course, cannot say. Thank you. I will have quite a treat for you tonight, Algernon. I'm going to send you down with Mary Farquhar. She is such a nice woman and so intended with her husband.
Yes.
It's a delight to watch.
Yes, but I'm afraid I will have to give up the pleasure of dining with you this evening after all, Aunt Augusta.
I hope not, Algernon. It would put my table completely out. Your uncle would have to dine upstairs. Fortunately, he is accustomed to it.
It's a tremendous disappointment and a terrible bore, but I'm afraid my poor friend Bunbury has fallen very ill again. They seem to think I should be with him.
It is very strange. Mr. Bunbury seems to suffer from curiously bad health.
Yes, poor Bunbury is a dreadful invalid.
I must say, Algernon, that I think it is high time that this Mr. Bunbury made up his mind whether he was going to live or to die. This shilly-shallying with the question is absurd. Nor do I in any way approve of the modern sympathy with invalids. I consider it morbid. Illness of any kind is hardly a thing to be encouraged in others. Health is the primary duty of life. I'm always telling that to your uncle, but he never seems to take much notice, as far as any improvement in his ailment goes. I should be much obliged if you would ask Mr. Bunbury from me to be kind enough not to have a relapse on Saturday. For I rely on you to arrange my music for me. It is my last reception, and one wants something that will encourage conversation, particularly at the end of the season when everyone has said practically whatever they had to say, which in most cases was probably not much.
Well, yes, I'll talk to Bunbury if he's conscious, but I can assure you he'll be all right by Saturday. There's great difficulty in arranging music, you see, for if one plays good music, people don't listen, and if one plays bad music, people don't talk. But if you'll accompany me into the next room, I will go over the program I've drawn out.
Thank you. It is very kind of you, Algernon. As far as the program is concerned, I'm sure it will be delightful after a few expurgations. French songs I cannot possibly allow. People always seem to think that they're improper and either look shocked, which is vulgar, or laugh, which is worse. But German sounds a thoroughly respectable language, and indeed I believe is so. Gwendolyn, you will accompany me.
Certainly, Mamma.
Charming weather we've been having, Miss Fairfax.
Pray, don't speak to me about the weather, Mr. Worthing. When people speak to me about the weather, I'm quite certain they mean something else. That makes me so nervous.
I do mean something else.
I thought so. In fact, I'm never wrong.
And I would like to be able to take advantage of Lady Bracknell's temporary absence.
I would certainly advise you to do so. Mamma has a way of coming back into a room quite suddenly that I've often had to speak with her about.
Gwendolyn, ever since I saw you, I have admired you more than any girl I've ever met since I met you.
Yes, I am quite well aware of that fact. And in public, at any rate, I wish you had been a bit more demonstrative. For me, you have an irresistible fascination. Even before I met you, I was far from indifferent to you. But we live, as I hope you know, Mr. Worthing, in an age of ideals. The fact is constantly mentioned in the more expensive monthly magazines, and has even reached the provincial pulpits, I am told. And my ideal has always been to love someone of the name of Earnest. Something in that name inspires absolute confidence. The moment Algernon told me he had a friend called Earnest, I knew I was destined to love you.
You really love me, Gwendolyn.
Passionately.
You don't know how happy you've made me.
My own Earnest.
But you don't mean to say you couldn't love me if my name weren't Ernest, do you?
But your name is Earnest.
Yes, I know this. But supposing it was something else, you couldn't love me then?
This is clearly a metaphysical speculation. And as most metaphysical speculations go, has very little to do with the facts of real life as we know them.
Gwendolyn, to speak quite candidly, I don't care for the name of Ernest. It doesn't suit me at all.
It suits you perfectly. It is a divine name. It has a music of its own. It produces vibrations.
Now, Gwendolyn, honestly, I think there are much nicer names. Jack, for instance, is a charming name.
Jack? No, there is very little music in the name Jack, if any at all indeed. It does not thrill. It produces absolutely no vibrations. I have known several Jacks throughout my life, and they all without exception have been more than usually plain. Besides, Jack is a horrid domesticity for the name John. And I pity any woman married to a man called John. Well, she would probably never know the entrancing pleasure of a single moment's solitude. The only safe name is Earnest.
Gwendolyn, I must be christened at once. I mean, we must be married at once. There should be no time to waste.
Married, Mr. Worthing?
Well, yes, surely. You know I love you, and you led me to believe that you were not indifferent to me.
I adore you, but you've not proposed to me yet. Nothing at all has been said about marriage. The subject has not even been touched on.
May I propose to you now?
Yes, I think it would be an admirable opportunity, and to spare you any possible disappointment, Mr. Worthing, I would like to let you know that I am fully determined to accept you.
Gwendolyn,
Yes, Mr. Worthing, what have you got to say to me?
you know what I've got to say to you.
Yes, but you don't say it.
Gwendolyn, will you marry me?
Of course, but how long have you been about that? I'm afraid you've had very little experience in how to propose.
You are the only girl I have ever loved in the whole world.
Yes, but men often propose for practice. Well, I know my brother Gerald always does. All my girlfriends tell me so. Your eyes are so wonderfully blue, Ernest. They are quite blue. I hope you will always look at me just like this, especially when other people are present.
Mr. Worthing, rise, sir, from this semi-recumbent posture. It is most indecorous.
Mamma, I must beg you to retire. Mr. Worthing is not quite finished yet.
Finished what, may I ask?
I'm engaged to be married to Mr. Worthing, Mamma.
Pardon me, you are not engaged to anyone. When you do become engaged, I or your father, should his health permit him, will inform you of the fact. An engagement should come on